Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this. Today we have a nutrition video here. I've only been uploading workout videos, and the other side of working out and getting in shape is of course the food, which a lot of people are struggling with. So today we have a very special guest here, a personal trainer, nutritionist, somebody I really respect and look up to, and I asked for advice for my own nutrition because he's just that much of an expert in this field and has a lot of experience. I've seen him do it for himself and for his clients also. So I decided I'll just get him here to share with us his knowledge and experience in terms of nutrition and training altogether. So yeah, that's correct. He's gonna tell us a little bit about himself, maybe whatever he wants us to know that I didn't mention. But like I said, he is the expert in nutrition, somebody I really respect. And then there you have it, man. Craig, say something to the camera.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Modi. It's good to be here. So as Modi said, my name is Craig. I'm from England. Been a personal trainer now for a long time, coming up about 15 years. Expertise is mainly in sports nutrition, weight loss nutrition also. I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I'm currently studying for a second degree in bioscience degree in nutritional therapy.
Great, man. There you have it. I think everything we need to know he can tell us. And most importantly, because you can always Google things, you can find videos about nutrition on YouTube, but the goal here is for him to break it down really simple so that everybody can understand. Because if you tell people just to find out information, of course they can find it, but we want to put it in a very basic way that everybody can understand and follow these guidelines. So the first thing I'm going to ask him is, when people talk about nutrition or dieting, the things you hear a lot is like calories, carbs, protein, fats, and all these things. But some people, or most of the people, don't really understand what is the difference is, or the functions of all these things into our bodies, how much of it we need to eat and all that. So I would just like for him to give us a basic explanation of what is the difference between all these things, the calories, carbs, fats, protein, and all that.
Yeah, so what you touched on there is basically what we refer to as macronutrients. So protein, carbohydrates and fats are the macronutrients in everything that we eat is made up of one or a combination of those three items. Okay, so for example, the body needs all three. We can get away without carbohydrates. The body is able to synthesize carbohydrates from the breakdown of protein and fats, but in an ideal world you want a perfect balance of all three. Each one has a certain role to play within the body. So carbohydrates predominantly we use as an energy source. Fats are also used as an energy source, but they're also essential for protecting organs such as the brain and the heart. And protein, we all know, anybody who's trying to build muscle is protein is the buzzword, where you take an intake of protein because we all know that it helps repair and build muscle. But also it has a secondary function in the body, which it can also, in emergency situations, be used as energy as well.
But the next thing I want to touch on is, like, if I want to lose weight now, what do I need to do? Like, people will just walk up on you and like, give me some tips, man. I want to lose like 5 kilos or something. And it's really hard for me to just say, okay, this is what you need to do, A, B, C, and D. You know, because I think there's a lot that goes into all that and it can be complicated. But just to put it in a very basic way, where do I need to start if I want to lose weight? What are the things that I need to do and don't do, and everything else like that? Like, I want to lose weight, where do I need to start?
Okay, so it's the golden question, isn't it, really? I mean, as a personal trainer, you must be asked more than anything else, how can I lose weight? I'm not losing weight, what am I doing wrong? And it's basic, really. It's simple. It's an equation of energy in versus energy out. Okay, so this is the first question I always say to people. I ask them back a question when they say to me, look, how can I lose weight? Well, first of all, I'll say, well, how many calories do you burn in a day? And 9 times out of 10, probably 9.9 times out of 10, the person says, I don't know. So how can you expect to create a calorie deficit either through exercise, nutrition, or both if you don't know how many calories you're burning on a daily basis anyway. So the first thing I say is find out what your total daily energy expenditure is, and then you need to find out how much you're eating. So the best way to do that is to track what you're eating, write a food diary, write down everything that you have. Yes, it gets a bit obsessive because, you know, sometimes you have to weigh the food and things like this, but I always say you don't have to do this forever. You know, after you've been weighing food for a week or 2 weeks, you can eyeball sort of what 200 grams of chicken is or 100 grams of rice is or something, you know. But what this does, it allows you to sort of see how much energy you're taking in, how much you're spending out, and then what you want to do is create a slight deficit. I normally say to start off with, maybe it's only 300 to 400 calories a day underneath, and that will help you lose a healthy amount of weight. But more importantly than anything else, when you want to lose weight, is you need to know how much calories you burn on a daily basis and how much you're taking in. Simple as that.
I think that was very helpful, man. The next thing I want to touch on is like you'll see people will go online and buy meal plans that maybe it's not customized for them, or they will just read or watch a YouTube video and they follow a certain kind of meal plan, and this maybe is not for them specifically, but they feel like they're following a meal plan, right? They feel like, okay, I believe what this guy is saying, but it's not working for me. So why do you think most of the diets, or most of the people that go into dieting fails on that, or why do you think most diets don't work? It works, but it doesn't work. You know, people always like, I'm dieting 2-3 weeks, boom, nothing happened, and then they fail. You know, why do you think is the cause of that?
Okay, well, first thing I would say when it comes to nutrition, and as you mentioned, these diet plans that people put on the internet, and you know, generic diet plans, which I absolutely hate. The first thing I would say with nutrition is it's definitely not a case of one size fits all. In fact, I like to say one size fucks all, because you give somebody a generic diet plan, and yes, it may work for this person, but that's not going to say it's going to work for this person or this person. You know, everybody's body reacts to different foods in different ways, and one of the key tips I would say for anybody who's looking to follow a nutrition plan is it doesn't always work first time. It is sometimes a case of trial and error. You know, sometimes you have to play around with maybe it's a lower carb diet, higher fat diet, or a medium fat diet to a medium carb diet, high protein. It depends on the lifestyle, it depends on the individual, and as I say, not one thing doesn't work for everybody. What I will say is that calories are the same. So, you know, if you are somebody who burns, I don't know, 2,000 calories a day, and you put yourself on a 1,700 calorie diet, yes, you will lose weight. The other thing that we need to understand is that weight loss and health are not always the same thing either. So people come to me and they say, you know, I want to lose weight, I'm eating salads all day, every day, and you know, and I think most people fail because this is what they do. They eat salads. You're not a rabbit. You don't live on leaves. You know, you're not designed to live on eating 2 carrots a day or anything like that. We're designed to eat food. And as I said before in the previous question, is that as long as you are eating within your daily energy expenditure, you're going to lose weight. And you can actually eat anything you like, anything you want. Doesn't mean that it's the healthiest option, but you can eat anything you want and still lose weight if you are within that calorie range.
The next thing I want to ask is when normally when people give general nutrition advice, they will tell you, okay, eat chicken, eat fish, eat rice, eat vegetables, and then somebody would maybe go to a restaurant and buy all these things. Okay, this is what I'm eating, but still nothing is happening, you know. But I think it is important to explain how it would affect the food, the way we cook the food, what is the effect of it. Because I might be eating 100 grams of chicken, but the ingredients in it, or the way it is prepared, it is cooked, can make a difference in the calories or grams of protein in it, or whatever, you know. The way it is prepared, how much does that have an effect on the food?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, first thing I'm going to touch on there is when you mentioned, you know, people say that they've been doing it for 2 or 3 weeks and, you know, there's no changes and things like that. First of all, with nutrition, I think a lot of people give up too easily, too quickly as well, you know. So the key above everything is being consistent, you know. Whether it's consistently prepping your meals, whether it's consistently getting the grocery shop, you know, knowing what you need to buy when you go in, whether it's consistently tracking how your weight is it going up, is it going down, are you stronger in the gym, are you weaker, are you more sleepy on a daily basis, do you have more energy? So it's something that you know, consistency plays a massive part overall. What was the rest of the question again? I forgot.
The way we prepare the food.
Sorry, yes, of course. The way you prepare the food, yeah. So again, it has a huge impact on your nutrition, and actually cooking methods can denature and change some of the foods that you eat. So, for example, sweet potato. So if we take sweet potato, fantastic source of carbohydrate. Boiled sweet potato has a very low glycemic index, which means it spikes the blood sugar slowly. There's no huge rise like there is when we have like a high sugary meal or glucose, for example. But if you change the cooking method and you bake the sweet potato instead of having it boiled, then you actually change the chemical structure of it, and when you eat it, it becomes a high glycemic food. Okay? Which means that if you eat it, when you've baked it, it's going to spike your blood sugar right at the top, and which will follow by a crash. So you're going to get a sudden burst of energy and then a very fast crash. Okay? On the other hand, as I said before, if you boil it, it remains a low glycemic index food, which means that when you have it, you're going to get a slow release of energy. So in this way, it's going to help you stay fuller for longer, which means you're less likely to eat shorter after as you would be when you have a crash from something else.
It's the same food, but still the way
exactly. So it goes to show exactly. Also, when you're cooking foods, what a lot of people tend to do, and they forget this when they're doing food diaries and stuff, say they'll fry some chicken, which is, you know, is absolutely fine. You can fry chicken, and say maybe a fried breast of chicken, maybe 130, 150 calories, depending on the size. But that's no longer 130 calories if you fry it in butter, you know, or if you fry it in oil. You know, you're adding grams and grams of fat, which again, as I said before, is 9 calories per gram. You know, so you're changing the whole structure, and then people come and they say, well, I'm not losing weight, and then when you break it down, you know, you've been cooking it differently, or like I say, you've been adding oil to it, you've been adding butter to it, things like that. These are all little things you need to keep an eye on when you're making your meals. So cooking methods is definitely something that you should take note of.
Next thing is, I think this is something I've always wanted to do, but maybe I'm just too lazy for it, like to count my macros, weigh my food, and I tried it maybe for 2 days and then I stopped. So I just wanted to know how important that is. Is it something you really need to do, or is it something you can go without? Is it something you must do to see difference or progress in your training, in your diet, or is it something, you know, optional?
All right, yeah. So tracking macros, it's a tough one, because it sort of goes down to how serious are you about your training and what is your end goal. So, for example, if I was training somebody for competition, then yes, absolutely, you need to train. You need to check your macros, track them. Sorry, because you know you're getting into a state where you need to preserve as much muscle as possible. So your protein needs to be adequate, but you also need to have an adequate amount of carbs, because carbohydrates act as protein sparing, which means if you completely remove the carbohydrates and you're not in the state of ketosis, what that will do is the body will take the protein that it has stored in the muscle, break it down, which means you lose muscle that way. So if you're going into a competition, the last thing you want to do is go in looking flat, you know, losing muscle that it's taken you so long to build. So you need to have that right balance. You need to be knowing you're getting enough protein to protect the muscles, you're getting enough fats, and you're getting enough carbs, but also you need to be within the calorie structure as well. That being said, for the general person who just wants to lose weight, I don't think it's necessary to track macros. As I said before, is necessary to know your calories, how much you're burning, how much you're expending, and how much you're taking in. But no, I don't think for the general person, I don't think it's necessary to track macros. And I think it can be a little bit off-putting because, I mean, as you said before, sometimes it can be quite overwhelming, you know, having to do it. It gets obsessive, and it's something that takes a lot of time, you know, and it's something you have to write down, you have to follow, you have to stick with. But certainly if you are looking to compete, or if you're an athlete, I think it's very beneficial to track macros.
The next thing that I get asked about a lot is, do you use protein? Like, people just see me in the gym, do you use protein? Mostly they're talking about this, like whey protein or whatever else kind of protein they must be asking about. So I just wanted to know, what is your take on supplements, especially in particular whey protein or BCAAs and all these kind of supplements? Like, do you think that we need it, or is it something like, just give us a little bit of an insight to supplements?
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to supplements, I think protein is obviously probably the most well-known one. But as you know, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different supplements out there which you can take. First thing I would say about supplements is that the key is in the name. Supplement means to go with, you know. So supplements should go with a diet, you know. First and foremost, food is king. Food takes place over everything else. Do we need supplements? No, I don't think we do. That being said, are they helpful? Yes, they can be. So for example, protein here. If somebody who's into bodybuilding, or you know, an athlete, or somebody that's putting their body through quite a lot of stress on a daily basis every single week, as we touched on before, protein is an essential macronutrient to help the body recover and repair the muscle that's either broken down, or to help it build into a stronger muscle than it was in the first place. So protein powders are great for getting a fast digesting serving of protein. And again, not everybody can manage to eat the amount that they need in a day. So for example, for me, I'm on around about 250 grams of protein a day at the moment. So I try to get mine as much as possible from food. So get it from sources such as fish, eggs, chicken, turkey, beef, you know, all the meats and the fish and things like that. That being said, you know, sometimes there's days where I just can't fit that food in. Either I'm just not hungry enough, or you know, if I've got a busy day or something like that. And that's where the like supplements come in fantastically handy, because you can have a protein shake drink which can give you up to 50 grams of protein in one drink, and it's, you know, it's a damn sight easier to drink one of those than eat 3 chicken breasts, or you know, or a steak or something like that if you don't have the appetite. As I said before, you know, supplements, they can be very helpful, but my advice to anybody who's looking at supplements is make sure your diet's in order first. First and foremost, make sure that your nutrition's correct, and then if you need the supplements, you can add them in at a later date.
And just to finish off on that, I wanted to know, like, a lot of people ask, like, does it have side effects? I know maybe that sounds like everybody knows, but a lot of people ask, like, do you think these are side effects that scared to take it, maybe it will harm them or something like that, like whey protein, for example? Yeah,
so again, it's an individual basis. There'll be people that react to it, that maybe get a bit bloated, or you know, get more gas than other sort of people do. As far as negative side effects, again, you would have to look at the individual and look at which ingredients are going into the protein powders themselves. Again, what I would say is the best thing to do is to do your research on the brands. You know, find out what goes into the protein. There are many brands out there that are not good, and they don't give you what they say they do on the front of the label. So stick to one that either that you know, or one that's been recommended to you, or one, you know, that have a word with your trainer, with your nutritionist, or something like that. There are different types. So again, trial and error, as we said before. You have whey proteins, you have pea proteins, you have egg proteins, milk proteins. So there's loads of different ones. You might not react best to some of them, whereas you might react better to other ones. But as I said before, you know, get the diet in order, and then you can start to look at the supplements from then on.
One thing, like everybody asks, is how long do you think it will take me to look like this, or to lose this much weight? And you know, everybody asks this question. Even the first day in the gym, they're asking this. And how much, what's the role of the diet in this? Like, how do you think I can give somebody a proper answer to that question? Like, I'm a trainer, I'm giving them the workouts and everything, but I have no idea what their diet is. And they're asking me how long will it take them to look a certain way or to lose a certain amount of weight.
Okay, so again, as a trainer, that's a question I've been asked countless amount of times. And the thing that I find you have to really sort of drill home to somebody from the early stages of a client, seeing a client, even maybe in the consultation process, is that I find in fitness, you get out what you put in, all right? So if you're cutting corners, if you're not, you're missing your workouts, you're skipping meals and things like this, it's going to take you a long time. You might never get there, all right? However, if you're working hard, if you're consistent, if you're hitting your meals, if your diet's right, if you're training hard enough, then you will get there. As far as how long it will take you to look like a certain way or something like this, again, it's an individual process. Everybody trains differently. The way I try and coach it into my clients is that you have to enjoy the journey, not just always be focused on the end point, okay? So don't look at a big goal, break it down into little goals, okay? So if your goal is to lose 10 kg, well, first of all, we're going to say, right, well, first of all, we're going to get you fitter and we're going to lose 2 kg by this point. By this point, I want you to have lost 5 kg, okay? And doing it this way allows you to manipulate the training, manipulate the diet so that you can check in on them on a regular basis rather than just saying, okay, by this time next year, you will look like this Instagram post or this, this social media model or whatever it is that you've seen. But being honest with them, because a lot of trainers will lie, will be dishonest. They'll say, I can get you looking like this in 6 weeks, or you see these things all over Instagram now. It's get abs in 6 weeks, and you're telling me somebody who comes in who is 180 kilos, who has a BMI of 85, is going to have abs in 6 weeks? No matter what he does, he's not going to have abs in 6 weeks, you see. So take it as an individual process, treat each person as they come individually, be honest with them, set them small goals as well as an overall goal, and get them to try and really enjoy the journey of fitness as well, not just the end goal.
So yeah guys, there you have it. I think he's break it down in the simplest possible way, and I hope that you will find something, or if not all, at least you can find some few points there that you can use and apply onto your own diet and fitness journey or weight loss journey. And yeah, I'll just let him throw in a few more words to wrap it up.
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me on the channel today. It's been an absolute pleasure. If anybody wants any more advice about nutrition or anything more in depth, you can find me on Instagram at the Calorie Thief, which we'll put along the bottom of the video here, I'm sure. But yeah, just keep going, be consistent, find a good trainer, find somebody who's going to give you quality advice, and don't give up.
So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like and share this video. We are both personal trainers, of course, like I said in the beginning. So he's someone that I highly recommend. I go for him for my own problems or ask advice from him. You can find him on Instagram. His Instagram will be linked to this video. And yeah, I highly recommend training with him, and whatever questions you have to ask as far as nutrition or training, you can always contact him. And yeah, I believe he's going to give you helpful information. Yeah, like I said, he's the Calorie Thief. He can get you right on your diet and everything, man. Just holler at him on Instagram. We're so happy to have him here. I don't even know what to say, man. And one more thing. There was a job I went for as a personal trainer. I applied. He was the guy that interviewed me. So I'm not lying about him. I know him very well. He did that interview for me, and yeah, we get to know each other from then. I'm still in touch with him. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you.